What was that like being 22 and having a lump sum sale?
Obviously, more money than I've ever seen in my life, all in one transaction.
What has it been like being rich, 23, snowboarding a ton, enjoying your life?
And I've gotten amazing opportunities.
Have a really great conversation for you today. We got Sam Lister, founder of Blank Slate Media. He has since sold Blank Slate Media, and we're going to be talking about that on the pod. He's the founder of Honey Wax. Sam was a client of 8F. He went through the whole process, sold his business, moved to Denver, started living the dream, build a business that doesn't need you to work in it.
Yeah, my name's Sam. Started Blank Slate Media the day before I turned 19, October 2nd, 2018. Started off as in-person videography, did that for about 2 years, kind of built in-person side of business, doing in-person events. Then pandemic hit, that all got shut down within a month. And then in March of 2020, that's when I pivoted to remote video editing. So essentially shifted the whole company direction and started building out a remote video editing team. And that's kind of when we linked up, and I kind of just started building the remote video editing process and building the team and systems and processes in place. I knew I wanted to sell that version of the business eventually. I had no idea how long that would take. I didn't really have a monetary figure in mind, but I knew like I wanted to build a company that could run and grow and scale without me. And that's kind of what I focused on from 2020 through kind of 2022. A few different things to cover in there, but long story short, sold the majority of the business fall of 2022. And now I run a snowboard and skate wax company with my little brother and snowboard for a living and get to just live this life and truly just pursue what I want to do in 8F. And like this whole journey has been such crazy quick process that it's hard to process everything.
And here's a quick reflection that's coming up. I remember when we were talking, you had said, I want to build this to sell. And just that was something foreign to me. I remember at the time thinking you shouldn't go into a company with the intention to sell it. And that was Jordan's perspective at the time. If you built to sell, you're always going to be thinking about the exit. If you built it to the $1 million run rate, fucking peace. I'm out of here, motherfucker. So let's just talk about the process of getting to a sale. What were some of the lessons that you learned on the journey of Blank Slate around building a company, building systems, and building processes? What were the big takeaways that allowed you to build something that could have been sold?
Everything compounds on one another. As I'm like building new businesses and stuff, I realize how hard it is to build a business, and I kind of forget about that and like forget about all
The
of the
beginning
years.
is so hard, man.
Oh my gosh, it is, but it's fun. And I guess that just plays into this game. But when it comes to just systems and processes, I knew this was going to be a creative company. And the biggest problem a lot of creatives face is like delegating their creative work, quote unquote, because they might not think someone else can replicate their style, or an editor can't edit as good as them, or film as good as them. I didn't really have that at the start because I wasn't a creative to start. I wasn't a core videographer at heart. I like the game of business and I like building companies, and I knew I could learn the creative side of things because I already was interested in the business side of things. That allowed me to put my founder's cap on from like metaphoric day one of early 2019. That's when I started kind of building the team around me. And that is something I just kept doing as we grew. Like I knew that I wasn't going to be the best editor. I wasn't going to be the best filmer. I wasn't going to be the best accountant. But if I can put all of those people together and steer them towards collective vision, like that's how you grow a company. And that's how I can grow and scale without you. You just need to like piece together and break apart parts of your business into different sectors, whether that's sales, marketing, outreach, finance, X, Y, and Z. If you can find the right people to put into those areas, that allows you as a founder to free up a lot of your time, a lot of mental energy, a lot of mental space. I think that's something a lot of people don't talk about, is how taxing it is mentally to run companies and run businesses and stuff. And the mental clarity you get if you can delegate tasks to people you trust and are better than you at those tasks, it's amazing. That's kind of how I go about.
I'll quickly summarize in the weeds of what happened. So came up with the offer, came up with a position, came up with figuring out how to get leads. And then it was how do we retain and grow our clients? So it was really about building the workflow of when we sign a deal, what are all the things we need to do to keep them happy? It was really a customer success play in your business. So when you have several touch points, you delegate a bunch of shit off your plate that drains your energy. So we looked at your time. We're like, Sam, what are you enjoying? What are you not enjoying? What are you good at? What are you not good at? Let's get the shit that you don't enjoy, you're not good at, or you're mediocre at, or that just drains you, but you're good at off your plate. We brought someone in. We brought a COO into the business, Zach B, who ended up becoming part of my business. He took over the things that really didn't help you. So this is what you were talking about with delegating. We built the customer success journey, and you went out and just continued to go figure out how to get clients. You guys built out a customer success process. The fulfillment process was right crushing. Video editing at the end of the day, it's like pretty straightforward, right? You upload your video to the portal, we'll edit it, we'll send it back. The big kicker I remember was you figuring out how to use TikTok ads to grow your business. You systematized this company, you were able to retain clients longer, ops is good. How the fuck did TikTok ads come to be? How did it work?
I don't know how many phases I'm going to break this into, but phase one was definitely like building out all of the infrastructure to be able to run and handle an influx of clients. We're getting all of our clients from outbound messaging, organic, just like conversations through the DMs. And I was just going hard on Instagram DMs for hours a day. And that was a lot of our business at the start. Once we got kind of that infrastructure set, that's when I could start focusing on scale. And that's where paid ads come in. We started running Instagram story ads. That's it. Not Instagram Reels, not Instagram feed, not Facebook, just Instagram stories, and made specific creative for that. That did really well for the first probably month we ran it. And then we got thrown in meta jail, and my personal ad account is still blocked. If my name's attached to any ad account, that account gets blocked. That's why we switched to TikTok. I knew the creative was going to be similar because it's just a similar attention platform. Everyone has roughly 10, 15 seconds to consume content. So if you can create a compelling piece of creative in 10, 15, 20 seconds that explains your product and isn't too salesy, I knew that should crush. That's what we did. We ran it, we tested, and we iterated, brought on homie David to help run the TikTok ads. You just need to iterate, you need to test. We ran a lot of creatives. Some flops, some do really well, and you double down on the ones that do really well. And it's a constant iteration process. It's never completed checkpoint of, okay, ads are turned on, we don't need to touch them anymore. And just slowly ramped up ad spend and stuff and crushed.
How did the sale conversation happen? And then what did the actual sales process look like? Because so few people actually get acquired. So no one knows how that shit actually goes down. And I'd love to hear that.
Anyone I've talked to in my network that has either talked about an exit or has exited, it is such a lengthy, intensive process to find buyers, to find the right sellers and platforms, so many things. I didn't experience any of that. It was so organic and so natural that I'm so blessed to just be able to talk about the story. Connor, I had him on my podcast in like 2020. So we were like mutual LinkedIn friends. We didn't connect before that. After that, doing our network, we've connected a little bit. I was looking for a little bit of capital at the time because I just wanted to put more fuel on the fire of ad spend. And like, this is right as we're scaling. I just wanted to grow faster. We didn't necessarily need capital, but I knew if I just had more capital, I can grow this faster. That's kind of when I was asking around. I think Zach was the one that asked Connor initially of like, hey, what's your recommendation? Obviously, you're a finance dude. Should we take out business loans? Should we go out and get a line of credit? What are the options out there? Because at that point, I was just like, what's available? I wasn't really gung-ho on anything. And at that point, he said he'd be interested in writing a check and coming onto the company, being a strategic investor, advisor type role. And I didn't really have anyone like that. And I knew I wanted to sell it eventually. And I had no idea how to sell a company, but this is what Connor kind of specialized in, selling small businesses.
And Connor, for those of you that don't know, he owns a portfolio of companies too. So this guy's someone who I've met too. This wasn't his first business he acquired too. So Sam sold to a guy that's done this before.
Yeah, he's worked with a ton of other companies that have done this before. He runs a fractional CFO company. So he understands the finance and back end of all of this stuff. One day in summer of 2022, I was talking to my accountant, Sutton, who is another homie of mine. And we were talking because he has another accounting company. And we kind of agreed like, hey, our companies are just going to be cash flowing companies right now. They're profitable. They're nice. And it's pretty simple and straightforward to run. So we just had a random catch up call and we just both kind of mutually agreed. And then the call after that, maybe 15 minutes after I talked to Sutton, Connor had the call of like, yo, I want to buy this whole thing. And I'm like, oh, okay. It just got really, really fast. So I guess that's kind of when we just started talking about and kind of negotiating deals and terms, and everything went pretty quick. It was kind of a few month process, probably 4 or 5 months from start to finish, which I think is super quick. Maybe it was longer than that, but it seemed like 4 or 5 months, maybe 6 or 7, but less than a year. Everything just like went through. We kind of just set different checkpoints of like, hey, let's make sure Obviously, Connor came in with his partner Steven, and that was their first business they bought together. Just a lot of going back and forth. I flew down to Dallas for a little bit with Katie, and we chilled out in Dallas for a while. I got to meet him face to face, kind of talk over like future of the company and goals, and we got the deal done, and everyone signed contracts.
Cash in hand. Did you
got
sell
a
for
check.
a lump sum or a lump sum
Yeah.
plus buyout?
It was lump sum.
What was that like being 22 and having a lump sum sale?
I asked quite a bit of people around me that have sold multi 8-figure companies, and they're like, the only guarantee you have is a lump sum. Like, take as much cash up front as possible. Like, that was the kind of advice I was given. You never know what happens in the future. If you have a 5-year payout, what if the company goes under in year 2? Then 3 years of payout is kind of gone through the roof.
Yeah.
The likelihood of that happening, probably slim, but it's always a possibility. They actually came to me. We were going to do upfront price and then a buyout over, I think it was like a 2-year period or 3-year period. I was fine with that. I agreed on it. It was a good upfront chunk of change and good monthly buyout at the end. But then they changed. They're like, yo, we want to pay you all up front. I think it's going to be simpler. I don't think you wouldn't mind this. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. I don't mind that. So let's get it done. And we got it done. I got a wire and called it a day.
What was that like the moment you got the wire in your bank account?
Obviously, more money than I've ever seen in my life, all in one transaction. This shit's a game. Money's a game. I have now such a different perspective of making money and how to make money and like the abundance there is out there. I think I've always had that a pretty solid relationship with money for the most part when it comes to making it and holding on to it and investing and not being scared to use it. And it just allows me to go on the offense more. I'm not going to sit back and retire and sit on a beach and do nothing. I'm going to invest all of that into building other companies. It's just what I love to do.
Let's transition. You sold your company.
22.
What has it been like being rich, 23, snowboarding a fuck ton, enjoying your life?
It's wild how similar you feel while everything is different, but everything's the same at the same time. A lot of contradictions there. I love just living life and not needing to respond to anyone else or listen to orders for anyone else. Having a boss or having like an authority I need to report to, I suck at it. And I've gotten amazing fucking opportunities, taking everything I've learned from blank slate and agency life, putting it into my own company now. It's just fun. It's fulfilling. I feel like a little kid again.
I'm just so happy that you're living your best life, and I'm grateful that we were able to be a part of your journey for a little bit of it. So guys, Sam's a real one of my favorite people I've ever had the pleasure of knowing and working with. His success story could be your success story. He is living the dream. And I think the biggest thing that I've loved about your journey, most importantly, is your lightheartedness, just your mental approach during the whole time. Dude, sending you love, always grateful to see you, man.
Grateful for you.
Peace out, buddy.
Thanks, Jordan.